Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead.
The cancer, you have fucking cancer, you are such a loser.
So I would have thought a small channel would have folded into irrelevancy by now, but here we are again. I said I would make another video if the last one got 100 likes, and as of writing this video, it has 138 likes. Perhaps I should have asked for more. Since the video was published, a lot had happened. YouTube terminated her channel, only to reinstate it later, which happened to a lot of influencers, either good or bad. She's been riling people up on Twitter and Facebook and jumping from hotel room to hotel room, making herself a nuisance as always, leaving her trash for others to pick up. No wonder her dad kicked her ass out if she can't be expected to clean up after herself. Along with people slandering her father to be a narcissist and giving her sympathy, all for views and clicks. However, I'm afraid I make these videos for the real talk, and I'm not afraid to say what we are all thinking. However, for now, I guess I need to grab a few things before we get into this. My trusty hazmat suit to protect me from the stupidity levels, like radiation, and a bottle of brain bleach.
A real celebrity. And please don't report me for being fucking fat.
Cause you know my family knows all about how to treat disobedient slaves. I'm gonna turn the dogs loose on you.
Me, real talent, very me.
And AIDS.
It's not about you anymore. It's over.
So a little while ago, everyone was celebrating the fact that YouTube had taken away her monetization from her negative and slanderous content of live streams. Then after a few days of that, I noticed her channel had disappeared from the search results, and I thought to myself, finally, it's over. Only to have YouTube reply after a week or so, it's not over, it's only just begun, with the reinstatement of her channel. The reason I feel YouTube does this is because they can see the uproar of the community and suspends the said channel for some damage control, or more likely they suspend the account due to breaking the community guidelines, but as we've seen with creators like Suzy Lou, they have a manager or a following with the ideology of blind loyalty. Under the pressure of the fans, YouTube will bend the rules and reinstate the channel. We have seen this time in and time out. Easily, YouTube is buckled under pressure. Leaving your trash behind for others to clean up is the sole definition of a slob. With this tweet, it can be clearly seen that she's playing off the negative attention she receives trying out her pathetic attempts at trolling. What's next? She leaves a used condom in a pillowcase? With this dumbass, I wouldn't be surprised. There is a very thin line between being a troll and a cyberbully. And with the words she uses in her tweets, exclaiming that people that work in hotels are the less fortunate and they do not have the swanky lifestyle she has chosen to play, and that they come from poverty. Really? I guess sleeping on stream counts as working these days. Am I right, guys? Judging from her Twitter, it seems she's just a wannabe troll but goes way too far for her own good. I mean, back in my day we had standards. Seems those standards these days haven't just slipped, they've fallen considerably low to the point of trolling and bullying being mixed into one. And believe me, PlaymateTessi is the worst of both worlds. It's one thing to be a troll artist, but entirely another thing to be a terrible troll that goes overboard. So I clicked the link tree and found her Onlyfans, and it is just as I feared, another slut using her body for material gain, but at least some girls out there are realistic with how much someone would be willing to spend on them. But Playmate, you simply just aren't one of them. For the real exclusive, $15 per month. Okay, that seems fair, you know, $15 a month, okay. $40 for 3 months. Okay, hang on a minute. $75 for 6 months. Just one sec. And my personal favorite, $141 for 12 months. And that's with a 25% discount. I wonder how much it would normally be to see a naked cop. Oh, what's that you say, everyone? I could just go to the pet store? Then I ask you, why should I pay this much for a service I can get for free? Obviously, the only people who would pay her are old, lonely men or young, impressionable teens going through puberty that haven't reached the age of consent. So with her Twitter escapades out of the way along with her OnlyFans page, let's move on to the main contender. IRL News Time, a video that I found through my passage to the unknown that explains how PlaymateTessi is a victim of a narcissistic parenting which, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is actually just playing her side for views, but hey, okay, who's it by, British? Alexandra Mayers shares her analysis and commentary on the popular IRL streamer known as PlaymateTessi and the recent drama that has come to light in regards to her childhood, which revolves around her father, public figure Jim West, aka Formerlyme, who exhibits the classic traits. Let's get into it, shall we, guys? On the 16th of February, IRL News Time made a podcast where her sole intention with this video was to slander the parent known as Formerlyme, and every single point that she makes is without evidence to back herself up, and most of the stuff she says just simply does not make a lick of sense to me, and I've been struggling with a mental health issue on and off for the last 15 years. My opinion is that either that this video is to capitalize off the drama by getting in good with PlaymateTessi, or she's as equally as stupid as Maya is. By the way, in real life News Time or Alexandra Mayers, I would never have found your terrible manipulative video on the matter if not from the shout out from PlaymateTessi's Twitter feed, so congratulations on that matter. However, I must say you were the sole definition of a Karen. Why? Well, we'll be getting into that. In either case, let's go through each point she makes and debunk them. All of them.
Now, hopefully this stream comes across okay. As many of you are aware, I have been traveling since September 1st. And there have been complaints here and there about my stream and even people bullying me.
At the start of the video, she starts talking about how she's been getting complaints about her streams and even people bullying her, so I guess criticism about your stream's beliefs and ideals are just straight up bullying these days, right? I would have thought you of all people would be against PlaymateTessi's rampage across the internet on making fun of cancer patients on Omegle, but I guess when it's a woman doing that, it's not considered to be bullying. So yet another double standard that I have sadly heard all too much in the last decade. She goes on to tell people not to, and I quote, bitch about her microphone quality, but if you're getting complaints about said streams, maybe try and make an effort by investing in better equipment would be a more preferable choice.
So I would appreciate it if some of you out there wouldn't constantly bitch about my microphone quality or wouldn't complain about things here and there, because once I'm settled where I decide that I want to live for at least a few months, my streams are going to be perfect.
Your streams are anything but perfect, love.
If you got a problem, you got a problem, but it's not my problem. So anyway, tonight I want to talk mainly about PlaymateTessi and the arrival of her father on the scene, because I had a chance to take a look at who her father is and whatnot. And from my perspective, and it's only my perspective, he's a textbook narcissist.
Oh, of course. I totally didn't see that coming. She goes into talking about the IP2 network, which isn't exactly very relevant to PlaymateTessi or even newsworthy, but for the sake of it, I looked into the network myself. The Invisible Internet Project I2P is an anonymous network layer implemented as a mixed network that allows for censorship-resistant peer-to-peer communication. Now, is that so bad? A bunch of users that want to be able to speak their mind about certain topics without fear of being shut down?
For those of you who are not aware, her father actually has been added to the IP2 network. And I want to show that to you. All right, if you look at the bottom of this graphic, you will notice that her father has been added to the network. And that does, in part, at least from my perspective, tie into why I personally feel that her father is a textbook narcissist.
So he's a textbook narcissist because he supports free speech? Yeah, your logic confuses me.
And it's a very difficult thing to come to terms with, because we do live in a society to where almost by default, parents are meant to be seen as people who can do no wrong.
Society tells us that parents can do no wrong. Oh really, that's why there are laws against child abuse, like child trafficking or other forms of child abuse. This is the same argument as rape culture, just another extreme delusional opinion designed to rile people up. One point I want to make here is, why does she constantly look away from the camera whenever she talks about this? It's almost like she's uncomfortable with this topic, or that she's lying through her teeth.
But especially to the women out there, the women who are sane and who don't feel that every woman out there is their competition, support PlaymateTessi. I see a lot of who I was when I was a young girl within her. I am a survivor of parental units who were narcissists.
And so begins the manipulation attempts.
I want to read to some of you some telltale signs of a father being a narcissist, okay? Now this first list I have is from Psychology Today. The title is 10 Signs of a Narcissistic Parent. So I'm just going to go down the list just to familiarize some of you with what the signs of a narcissistic parent are. Number 1, uses or lives through one's child. Already we see Tessi's father attempting to live through his daughter by making a stream, completely trashing his own flesh and blood.
Let's start with who trashed who. From my experience, it was Maya or Tessi, as that's what you believe her name to be, to have thrown the first stone by live streaming herself sleeping. And when you are asleep, you are not aware of your surroundings, so I get that she wasn't aware of her father ranting and raving at her sister for being disrespectful towards him. But who went live? Answer, PlaymateTessi. Who sleeps for a living? Answer, PlaymateTessi. And finally, was this irresponsible to do so? Yes. The blame is entirely on her shoulders, and you have the audacity to put this on him? And for him to go live with a target on his back painted by her fanbase to try and give an explanation for his behaviour in the clip, and to go as far as to even apologise, that I've already explained in part 1 that he should not have even had to apologise for the actions of his daughter, as she is an adult now, but sure, he was just making a stream for clicks and views and not for context, right?
And really the IRL was initially his daughter's thing. It was not his thing, but he's already taken it over because that is what a narcissistic parent does when it comes to their child.
IRL? You mean in real life? I'm pretty sure that was the original vloggers thing before any of us came along, so your point, like your logic, is invalid.
Marginalization, and I'm going to explain this and read what it says. Some narcissistic parents are threatened by their offspring's potential, promise, and success as they challenge the parent's self-esteem. Now, we are witnessing that when it comes to Tessi and her father.
I find it hilarious that you didn't even read the entire paragraph, as it pretty much debunks your theories, so I'll read what the paragraph actually says in full. Some narcissistic parents are threatened by their offspring's potential, promise, and success. As they challenge the parent's self-esteem, consequentially, narcissistic mothers or fathers might make a concerted effort to put the child down, so the parent remains superior. Examples of this type of competitive marginalization includes nitpicking, unreasonable judgment and criticisms, unfavorable comparisons, invalid of positive attitudes and emotions, and rejection of success and accomplishments. The common themes through these put-downs are: there's always something wrong with you, and you'll never be good enough. By lowering the offspring's confidence, the narcissistic parent gets to boost his or her own insecure self-worth. Where is the evidence for the father to be this cruel or to have said anything of the above? Answer, there isn't any. Why? Because it didn't happen. You also say talented, and to be honest, I couldn't agree with you more. She is so talented at falling asleep on cue. There isn't anyone better suited for the role of a human log.
I think he embarked on his Formerly Me business a little prematurely. he seems to be trying to coach people or show people how to be the best versions of themselves, but he's clearly not there. Maybe he should call his current state something along the lines of currently me, because he did lose some weight. It's supposed to be about his weight loss journey, but he hasn't lost that much weight. He's still chubby.
Yes, if you can't come up with a single good point or valid criticism, then you must do whatever it takes to destroy their character. Unfortunately, love, your pathetic attempts to harm him will only make him stronger. What does his weight have to do with it? Where is the relevancy to this point? It would be like criticizing you based on your age, ethnicity, or race. How would that be relevant to the point I'm trying to make? The answer is, it wouldn't be relevant, and it is just plain stupid. But hey, we can't all be supermodels, can we, love?
And I think maybe his obsession with trying to lose weight but failing to do so could have led to his daughter having an eating disorder.
Okay, it's official, you belong in an insane asylum. People who try to lose weight are obsessed with weight loss. Okay.
Number 3, grandiosity and superiority. Many narcissistic parents have a falsely inflated self-image with a conceited sense about who they are and what they do. That's what Formerlyme clearly does.
She stares intensely into the camera. And that's all the proof or explanation into point number 3 you need. I guess it's case closed. Sorry, Formerlyme, you're gonna have to go on Drama Alert and explain how you're not a narcissist.
Number 4, superficial image. Closely related to grandiosity. Many narcissistic parents love to show others how special they are. They enjoy publicly parading what they consider superior dispositions, be it material possessions, physical appearance, projects and accomplishments, background and membership, contacts in high places, and/or a trophy spouse or offspring. The father seems to have some sort of a fancy car, or an affinity actually for exotic cars that quite a few of his streams feature.
So people who like to show off what they have worked for are narcissists? Guess I'm a narcissist then. What, you think this microphone and my Xbox just fell out of the sky? No, I had to work for it. That's how the world works, you see. You need to work to live. It seems some people have forgotten that issue. So if you've been working hard to be able to afford nice things or possessions for quite a while, then you finally get what you've been saving for, then wouldn't you want to show it off? I guess all women who buy shoes and new clothes are narcissists, as they show off their new possessions all the time at social events.
Number 5, manipulation.
Once again, just glazing over points in the article that you can't stick to Formerlyme just shows how little research you did going into this video or stream.
Number 6, inflexible and touchy. He appears to be highly sensitive to criticism.
Criticism? If you watch the full stream video, then you would see that he goes into the criticism and apologizes for his actions, and gives an explanation into his actions, which I think we can all agree is fair. But let's explore this point with you. What did you say at the start of your own stream?
And there have been complaints here and there about my stream, and even people bullying me.
Yeah, seems you must be a narcissist as well, as you call people who criticize you bullies. Way to destroy your own credibility, love.
Number 7, lack of empathy, which is clear in the video.
Any points of evidence to suggest one does not have the ability to understand and share the feelings of another? Oh, I guess not. What a surprise. No clip, no evidence to back up your claims?
Yeah. Number 9, jealousy and possessiveness. He clearly seems to be jealous of his own child.
Jealous of his own child? Yeah, because she really has a lot going for herself, doesn't she? Hell, this time next year she'll probably beat Dream's subgrowth. He's so jealous of someone willing to sell out their own family for clout and a few more dollars through the post.
Number 10, neglect. Even though PlaymateTessi may have had access to funds and material goods and whatnot, it's very clear that psychologically and spiritually she was neglected.
Another point to suggest that Formerlyme is the villain here, but executed poorly. Why exactly? Well, 1. How much do we actually know of Maya? And 2. Your whole video has been centered around slandering someone who didn't ask to go on a live stream or for any of this to blow up on Reddit.
Now, before I get into the next clip, I do want to say I really do like watching PlaymateTessi. She is like an IRL version of Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian.
You do realize those are real people, right? Also, of course you enjoy watching her because your content is just as bland as hers. No context to support your claims, you'll just spin the story however it suits you and not for any factual significance.
And I think that a lot of women my age actually like watching her, and I think a lot of young girls would like watching her too, because she is contending with a certain circumstance in life that I think is more common than many people want to acknowledge when it comes to trying to get your life together and trying to be an independent young woman.
An independent young woman? Really, because for someone who cries about having to hang her own clothes up or can't even clean up after themselves, that is just really an insult to any independent woman out there in the real world. So she then goes into a video of PlaymateTessi talking about her father dropping her from her insurance and slandering him without any evidence or proof to support those claims. In real life, News Times goes on to say that this is interesting that this has happened outside of the US, and yeah, a lot of interesting things do happen outside your own little bubble, you know. That's why we have news channels, to inform us about important events happening around us. She goes into detail about Formerlyme traveling a lot, but let's be honest, is that really something to be concerned about? She says that you can get away with a lot when you travel a lot. Okay, but there are a lot of people who travel a lot for work, so should we be concerned about those people too? I mean, my grandparents used to go on holiday 5 times a year before the pandemic, so I guess by your logic I should be putting a critical eye on them. Maybe they are part of ISIS. Oh no, maybe they are working with the CIA. No, I've got it. They're in league with the Russian mafia.
She kind of gets into like a little state of distress as she's trying to explain to her chat that she's telling the truth.
I wouldn't really call that distress, more like lying. Look at the facial expressions when she's talking about this, or when she says, maybe I'm not lying to you guys. Now, if I wasn't lying about something, I wouldn't say maybe I'm not lying. I wouldn't even bring lying into the same sentence, as that implies that you're lying or you have a guilty conscience, which can be very suspicious, and normally is the thing that gives people away. People who insist on them not lying normally are the guilty party.
And I can understand how a lot of people would look at her and they'd be like, oh, you're wearing a unicorn horn, who can take you seriously? But I think that some of the acting that she does on stream is a mechanism to cope.
One point that destroys your next argument, some of the acting. If you believe this to be nothing more than just a simple act, then that has serious ramifications for your video and its purpose. I mean, was this video meant to be your next big hit? Was this video for the subject of driving in more views to your channel? With that one point I've highlighted, it would seem so.
What kind of parent really feels the need to constantly hammer into their child's head how much money certain things have cost when it is supposed to be for their well-being? I think a parent who's abusive and a jerk.
The only abusive person in this video is yourself and the person that you're bringing up as evidence, PlaymateTessi. What kind of parent hammers useful information into their child's head? I don't know, but maybe a good parent who teaches those of right and wrong, one that teaches about the value of money. But apparently doing that is being abusive and a jerk. Do yourself a favor, love, and get an education.
Now, I saw that someone in the chat, criticized me, and they're like, oh, how can someone who's not a parent critique someone who is a parent? Quite easily. People do it all the time. There's quite a few people who have written some amazing books on parenting who have never been parents, because sometimes it takes being an outsider to see a clear picture of what's really going on inside.
There are some people who have no experience being a parent who have written some amazing books on parenting. Really? Care to show some examples? No? Oh, what a surprise. In my opinion, you can't talk on the topic of parenting without experience, as it's probably one of the hardest jobs in the world, especially as a single parent. And yeah, it does take an outsider to see a clear picture, but it doesn't mean you are qualified to commenting on someone's parenting skills.
People don't have to simp for her. I hate some of these IRL terms. Simp, white knight. I noticed that her father himself, was saying that she has the capacity to save herself. To Mr. Formerly Me, who still has a lot of work to do on himself, your daughter already did save herself from my perspective. She saved herself from your ass.
She saved herself from her father, really, because she's doing so much better without him, or his house, or his money, to the point of jumping from hotel to hotel just for a bed to sleep on. Oh yeah, let's not forget that it has to be a 5-star hotel.
And she's in the process of trying to distance herself from you. And for some reason, you're chasing her online.
Chasing her online? Really? Where's your proof? Seriously, I feel like it's going to be the staple for every point that she makes.
When you decide to be a parent, it's not about you anymore. At all. It's about your child. I don't know why that is so difficult for so many narcissistic, sociopathic parents to understand.
Let me tell you something about teaching people how to parent when you have no prior experience. You're an idiot. It's like, can I teach someone to fly a Boeing 747 without any experience or training? Hell to the no. Maybe, and this is just a maybe, it's not the parents you are referring to. Maybe it's you that's a sociopath and a narcissist. Get yourself checked, love, and call me in the morning. Damn, only 27 minutes into this and I'm already feeling the strain on my poor brain. Oh, wait a minute, was that self-inflating? Must mean I'm a narcissist now.
No child ever requests or consents to be born.
I think this has to be the stupidest, the most retarded argument I've ever bear witness to. No child ever requests or consents to be born. No shit, Sherlock. Want to know the reason for that? Probably because they don't exist before conception or sex. I feel so shell-shocked that you would even say something as stupid as that is, as a fucking legitimate argument.
Now we're going to look at the father. All right, and I'm going to probably pause frequently to provide some commentary into a few things that he has to say.
Pause to provide commentary. You mean reaction commentary, right? And by commentary, you mean take out of context.
He's very long-winded. Very me. You're gonna see.
Hey, all those victims of domestic violence and crimes were all just about me. See how idiotic that claim is?
This really sucks that this has to be my first YouTube live video.
All right, let's stop right there, actually. Let's stop right there. He specifically says this is his first YouTube live video.
A video uploaded and a live stream are two very different things, and I don't think I need to educate everyone on why that is, as I'd expect my viewers to know these basic things upon coming to my video.
I actually think that it's possible that his daughter saw his mistakes as someone who's documented himself online, learned, and built a foundation which later became PlaymateTessi, based on what she learned from her chubby father. But let's continue.
I love this point. Chubby. Really, so attacking his weight is what we consider to be insightful commentary these days. Guess we got another cyberbully on our hands here, boys. She probably learns her insults from kids in the playground or at the park after she lures them into her truck.
So, this channel was really, the intent of this channel was always to be for the purpose of Formerly Me, which was my body transformation and weight loss journey.
Let's pause there. The journey's just begun because he's still chubby.
Most of her points with this frustrates me, as it's just a blatant attack on his weight and doesn't provide anything else as a commentary.
And when it comes to the seriousness of what he's claiming he wants to dispel when it comes to certain allegations, why is he instantly marketing himself? I actually personally feel like he's thrilled right now to have utilized his daughter as a stepping stone in order to promote Formerly Me, which needs to be called Currently Still in Progress.
Did he really utilize his daughter, or did her actions with the live stream cause him to make this stream to explain some of the criticism and to provide clarity and context to these points? I think we both know who's utilizing PlaymateTessi for views, and it ain't him, as that is the only stream he has made directly about her.
I was not aware that she was live streaming while she's sleeping. Like, who does that? Like, who just puts on a camera and just films herself while they're sleeping? But again, I don't understand the current culture of what people will watch as entertainment or to pass the time.
Okay, let's pause right there. He's kind of lying there. He's claiming that he doesn't understand what people watch in the current culture. Don't let the salt and pepper beard fool you. This man is not that old.
Once again, I feel like God is testing me. Do not let the salt and pepper beard fool you. This man is not that old. Seriously, I've personally known people to start getting grey hairs by the age of 29. That can be boiled down to stress.
The way that he talks about his daughter's sleep stream, I've done a sleep stream. A lot of IRL entertainers have done sleep streams.
You've done a sleep stream? Seems kind of funny, as I couldn't find a single video or past broadcast that showed that you aren't lying about that to try and convey the message that sleep streams are 100% normal. However, you must be a very creepy person if you get high from watching people sleep.
Of his daughter. Why is he instantly criticizing her when it's apparent that she's already dealing with low self-esteem to a certain degree?
Why is he criticizing her? I wouldn't say that's criticism, but I'll entertain the idea. If it was criticism, then it would be because of all the criticism of the internet that kind of forced him into a corner to make the stream and to explain these things. Damn, I've probably explained his reasoning about 10 times by now.
Formerly Me. Get real.
Alexandra Mayers, get real.
Blast me and my social media accounts and the things that I'm trying to do with my life in the world. I'm doing this live as kind of my response to that. Now, I'm not trying to...
All right, let's pause right there. Do you hear how many times he said "my" just now? What I'm trying to do with my life, what I'm trying to do in the world, is not about you anymore. It's over, Formerly Me. It's over for you. You're too old. I'm sorry. The IRL streaming, the online personality thing, it's a young cat's game or a young kitten's game.
Says the wannabe with only 4.4k subs who says she gets bullied by people who give her criticism. On an additional note, you said that he's not that old, but then you contradict yourself here by saying he's too old, his time is done. Yeah, I think that's your credibility that's done.
With all the know-how that you have accumulated over the years when it comes to online marketing, when it comes to your own failures, when it comes to Formerly Me, why wouldn't you instead look at your daughter, look at what she's doing and be like, you know what, let me support you, Tessi. Let me help you build your brand. Let me help you open a merch store.
See, he probably would have tried to help her, but then she decided to paint him as a psychopath and try to get him arrested. But hey, never mind about those details. Let's help the person who's trying to dismantle his life.
But no, instead, he's trying to just get more attention for something that's never gonna work out. Formerly Me, which should be called Currently a Basket Case.
Huh. What's that I can smell? Oh, it's just the irony.
Seek retaliation. I'm not. I really am not trying. I'm not trying to be vindictive. But the point is that I raised you on my own for 13 years. 13 years as a single parent. Never been the best parent in the world. There's a lot of parents out there probably have been in similar situations to the one I'm in right now that can totally identify with what I'm having to deal with right now. I'm dealing with a whole bunch of crap right now.
Okay, so right there, you know, he defaults to, oh, woe is me, I'm a single parent. So are quite a few other people in the world. It's not a big thing anymore. Throughout time, there have been single parents.
It's not a big thing to be a single parent anymore, says the person with no kids, no experience on how to raise children other than reading books from people as equally ignorant as she is.
I'm an adult, and I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it, and I'll move on. But
Yeah, you are an adult. You're an adult who came online to embarrass their child.
Oh my god, seriously? Every positive point he makes, she just makes it out to be something entirely different. Is she even real? One last time, his video was to address the criticism he was getting, and to explain his side of the story, and to provide some much needed context to the situation. He even apologized for his actions in the video, not to embarrass anyone, not to attack anyone, and most certainly not to grow his brand from it. Seriously, last time I'm explaining it because even a preteen would understand this.
Adults don't come on and use the term, oh, this really sucks. What is this, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? No. You're supposed to be a professional? Really? Okay.
So adults can't speak their mind because it's not professional to say, this really sucks. Wow, where the fuck did you grow up? The Dark Ages?
you basically acted out a scenario where your life was in danger. You called 911. So this is completely self-imposed. You evicted yourself before I had a chance to.
So let's pause there. He says that she evicted herself before he had the chance to. So he was already planning on throwing her out to the wolves. He just admitted that.
No shit, Sherlock. You can see that from his phone call to Maya in her live stream. Fuck my life.
And as far as her acting out a scenario of her life being in danger, you all heard the clip that I played earlier. I think her life really may have been in danger.
If you truly believe that, then you are more of an idiot than I give you credit for.
Who would not be angry right now with having the lives put out on the internet, etc.? Now, I've already put a lot of my life on the internet. For those of you who have been seeing my Formerly Me videos and making them.
And see, there he goes again, talking about himself and the Formerly Me videos. But someone in the chat just said something very poignant, and I'm going to screen cap it actually. Chris Robinson says, "Who the hell throws their kid out during COVID?"
I'll tell you what. Go have a kid. Raise it on your own for 18 years. Then when they stab you in the back, then you can tell all of us on how to behave in that situation. But until then, I suggest you leave the advice giving to the professionals, as you can't give advice for shit.
And as an adult, I can make that conscious decision and consent to that. But what I never consented to was being part of her live stream and her recording while she's sleeping and capturing the altercation that happened between me and her younger sister, T.
Okay, let's stop there. He says that he never consented to being a part of her live stream. Let's go back to a point I made earlier. No child ever requests to be born. No child ever consents to who their parents are. This is Tessi's life, okay? She was recording her life.
Correction, she was recording herself sleeping.
You are the one, formerly me, who now has injected yourself not only into the drama surrounding her, but into the network that helped her gain a lot of ground. And you are okay with it because you're vain.
So if I had a daughter or a son and they joined a network, I myself am not allowed to join that network? Your logic is outstanding.
Level 99, pissed, going off on my daughter. Every parent's had that moment when you've gone off and you just went super raw with your emotions. And so, yeah, I did. Now, I've seen the comments. Yes, I do have a temper. I admit that. And I'm actually got anger management classes scheduled. So for those of you that have recommended anger management, it was already something being discussed and worked on. So that is happening. So.
All right, so he admits to needing anger management. again, we have to go back to those claims about her saying that she had bruises when she was a kid. Formerly me, did you physically assault your child?
Interesting how you're injecting these things into this area. Maybe he could have abused or assaulted her, however there is no evidence to show that. I choose to believe the father in this case, due to his story being consistent and PlaymateTessi's story being loose with a lot of plot holes in it.
I just, for the past, I was up till 6:30 in the morning watching your bullshit live stream, watching other content where you're going after people because of either a disability, their ethnicity, or disease, or a thing like cancer. That is horrible. And the problem is I'm as your father, this is not the person that I raised. I did not raise you to be evil or to do negative things like this to other people and cause other people grief and harm, because that's what you're doing. Now, it's one thing, do it to me and all your followers, your fanboys, I don't know what the labels are for these guys that are like, I don't know if they're simps or white knights trying to come to your rescue. You can rescue yourself.
She is rescuing herself.
How does she rescue herself? By selling her family out? Lying to her fanbase? Or attacking other people based on their looks, wallet size, mental health bearing, physical health bearing, or a disability?
Well, if she never took back what she said and she knows that you know formerly me, that, from my perspective, tells me that it is authentic. And why wouldn't this young girl have the right to talk about her life? It's her life, not your life.
So as a parent, they can't offer advice or give said advice. Parent gives advice, you say it's their life, stop trying to control them. Obviously, this woman has some parental issues of her own, and I think she's injecting her own experiences with abusive parents into this situation or scenario, and it simply doesn't make a lick of sense.
If you're so concerned about your daughter who's a minor, why are you mentioning it in this video? Formerly me.
Last time I checked, it's not wrong or against the community guidelines or against the law to talk about children on YouTube or to talk about minors on any platform.
The scapegoat, and whoever her sister is the golden child. Typical narcissistic parent tactic. Shame on you, formerly me.
Yeah, damn right, sister. Shame on formerly me for daring to ever speak out against what PlaymateTessi is doing to her sister in her streams, bringing a minor into her drama for clout. Shame on him. Am I right, people? Am I right?
And as far as Tessi having an issue with weight gain, why wouldn't she, considering that her father's business is all about losing weight, because that's what's important to you? You raised your daughter to want to remain thin because you have an issue with your own weight, Mr. Formerly me, currently in progress. Because you're not there yet, chubby. You're really not there yet.
So it's now a bad thing to remain fit and active. Now I've heard it all. And again with the fat shaming. How long until this video gets taken down?
And some people may be like, oh, Alexandra, you're fat shaming him. Yeah, I am. I am fat shaming him. Because he's shaming his daughter.
Okay, how the fuck did she do that?
And, all these medical treatments and everything that she, allegedly has needed, or treatments pertaining to her mental health. What is the exact situation revolving around her life that is prompting her to need all these things? I think it has to do with the parents and something that has not been addressed with the parents.
You do realize that some people have mental disabilities at day one, right? When they're born. And yes, there could be a lot of contributing matters that develop into poor mental health in your life. So maybe she was neglected, or maybe it was something else in her life. We all really can't say at this point in time for the obvious reasoning.
Because PlaymateTessi is not the problem. Just like reformed stoic is not the problem in his situation.
Oh yes, the person who commits the actions are not the problem. A mass shooter isn't the problem, it's how they came to be that way. No, PlaymateTessi is a significant problem with her recent behaviour, which we will get into later.
Both of these individuals are symptoms of a greater problem. And the actual problem in both of these case study situations is who? Their parents, namely their fathers.
Who else saw that one coming? Never the mother's fault, never the person who committed the action's fault. It all really does come down to the father, which I find is very sexist.
She was seeing 2 different counselors and therapists in Arkansas, and then here she was seeing 2 different counselors and therapists, and eventually none of it worked. Because therapy and counseling, you have to be invested in it too. You have to choose who you want to be and what information you're gonna take in, and if the counselor is gonna work for you or not. She never wanted it. She never did, because
Maybe she didn't need it. You ever think about that, formerly me?
Oh yeah, she definitely didn't need counseling. She definitely didn't need treatment. That's why she's the most hated person on YouTube and probably Reddit today.
But maybe she realized that getting away from you was the solution, but you're not letting her go because you made this damn video.
He had to make that damn video. That was on the 24th of January, but your video's a bit late to the party, love. 4 weeks nearly, as your video was published on the 16th of February. Isn't that funny?
was when she was young. She used to be a super sweet girl. I used to, when she'd have a birthday, I would blow up. I would blow up because I didn't have a helium tank at the time. I would literally blow up 100, 200 balloons and fill up a room with balloons. I'd fill up a room with balloons so you could just have those memories.
Okay, now we really do get to see who the father is here, because what he doesn't understand is that when she was a little girl, she was still forming a sense of self. Okay? People do change from childhood to teen years to adulthood. He liked when she was a little girl because she was controllable. She probably did exactly as she was told without question. And she wasn't thinking so much for herself because she was a child. And then the story about these balloons, he's just trying to gain sympathy from the audience. Like, oh, I'm such a wonderful father. I blew up all these balloons. That's your memory? Okay, you trying to impress others by doing these grandiose things? That's a trait of the narcissism.
Can I just ask a question? What the actual hell happened to you to be so cold, so devoid of empathy?
As a single parent, for any single parents out there, that it's tough. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world. Single mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, people that have to raise a kid. It's freaking hard. It's hard. I've traveled the world with my 2 girls. They've been to over 28 countries in this world.
And why? Why did those girls not have stability when they were little? They've traveled to 28 countries. That's a little bit much for a kid. Was this man in the military? Why was he traveling all the time?
Probably for work. Some people do that.
We were in Cabot, Arkansas because she was being bullied. And so one of the main proponents of me taking them from Arkansas, moving down to the Woodlands, was to give them opportunities, access to better education, and to get them into a multicultural, diverse environment and community so she wouldn't be bullied like she was in Arkansas. All of that I did for her as her father. And this is how all of that effort, all of that energy, all of those decisions I made in the best interest of my daughters is repaid to me. Because
let's stop there. Do you hear what he said? Repaid to him. Sign of a bad parent. Whatever you do for your child as a parent, you don't expect payment back, and if you do, you're a piece of garbage.
Where do I begin with this one? He's not talking about repaying him with possessions, money, or material goods. He is talking about with loyalty, like any child would have to their parent. You would have to be a sociopath not to understand that.
But he's naming everybody in his family, and they're all women. He's named his daughter's legal name. it sounded like he named his minor daughter's legal name, and now he's named his ex-wife's legal first name. This is too much information. Why are you telling us all this information, formerly me? What's your agenda? You were saying before that you don't want anything bad to happen to your child. It kind of sounds like you do.
You know, it's not illegal to name someone by their first name, right?
Tia has done nothing but be the best possible sister she could to a person like Maya. That is the God.
And you catch that? He said a person like Maya. A person like Maya. He just said he doesn't like the kind of person that he feels his daughter is. And that's a shame.
To be honest, that is fair. After all the stuff she has done to him, before and after, that is fair to have that opinion, and it doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him human.
Minor daughter has a future ahead of her, as though Tessi or Maya doesn't. As young as she is, Tessi's got such a future ahead of her. And if you can't see that because you're that damn dumb, I am so glad that she got completely out of your life. So just let her go completely.
Wait, you of all people are calling him dumb? Seriously, woman? You really do need a reality check.
And don't mention your daughter, be she known as Tessi or Maya or whatever anymore. And maybe consider having another trusted family member raise the minor daughter, the minor age daughter, because you're atrocious.
How dare you say that when you aren't even a parent? You don't even know how hard it is to raise a child by yourself while trying to support them, working a job that you probably either love or hate. And with this video as evidence, I hope you never do, because you raising a child is straight up nightmare fuel. How can you objectively sit there and say get a trusted family member to raise his kid because he's too incompetent to do so? You are disgusting in every sense of the word, and I hope you really do get what you deserve.
Does not deserve this kind of bullshit.
No, Tia doesn't deserve this kind of bullshit from you, formerly me.
So I'm imploring to you guys out there, please, just if you see people going after Tia, jump on her ass for me. I mean, gang mentality in a positive effort. That's the best way to say it. There's so much negative gang mentality out there in our country. It's so full of fucking negativity these days. But I would like to see some positive gang mentality where people go after.
You want to see some positive mentality after you just said the kind of daughter that Maya is, the kind of person she is? You're the negative one. You try to come off as Mr., I'm so positive, I'm into fitness, I'm into this. You're not. It's all up front, and it's very obvious. You're the negative one.
I think you have the daughter and the father mixed up. Maybe go for a walk and think about this for a bit. You want some brain bleach? I got an extra bowl. Maybe you'll start to actually think afterwards.
And I also want to know, he was talking about her not having an income. Now she does have an income. It's not a traditional income, okay? It's through the IRL, through being an online personality, but she could easily become a legit internet influencer.
She will never be a good influencer because to be good at that, you have to have good content, be a role model, or be entertaining, which she fails with her next public stunt.
I appreciate a lot of the positive comments from a lot of you guys. I read a lot of the comments. I went through, IP2, went through your site, saw the posts. I do not appreciate the posts of nudity of my daughter because she's still my daughter. Whatever she chooses to do with her body and her OnlyFans or whatever sites that allow that content, It's her decision, her choice. I may not like it, but I don't need to be shown it. So I'll also ask that have a little bit of respect there. I know the internet gives everybody that level of anonymity. You know, no one's gonna, you know, I'm anonymous.
Well, Dad, you took away the anonymity. You named her real name in this video. You named her sister's name. You named her mother's name. What are you doing?
You know, I actually want to ask you the same question, believe it or not. So to wrap up her video, I was going to do every point on her, but her video is so trash and disrespectful and disgusting that I just can't bear another minute of it. Before we get into the next series of videos, there is something that needs to be said, as this woman here is a covert narcissist, and that's actually a real thing, believe it or not. Why exactly? Well, let's explore it, shall we? Here are the following signs of a covert narcissist that she has in her video. Number 1. Blaming and shaming. Shaming others is a wonderful tactic of the narcissist in order to secure their sense of an elevated position in relation to others. The overt or extroverted narcissist might be more obvious in their approach to gaining leverage, such as explicitity, putting you down, being rude, criticizing you, and being sarcastic. Number 2. Creating confusion. Although not always sneaky, some covert narcissists can take joy in creating confusion for someone they are interacting with. They may not engage in blaming or shaming, but instead causing people to question their perceptions and second guess themselves. Another way to create leverage between them and another person, the covert narcissist needs to use tactics like this to elevate themselves and maintain power in the interaction. If they can get to you, question your perceptions, then this allows them the opportunity to manipulate and exploit you more. Procrastination and disregard. Because their need for self-importance reigns supreme, covert narcissists will do whatever they need to do in order to keep the focus on themselves. So where an extroverted narcissist will blatantly push you aside and manipulate you to accomplish their goal, the covert narcissist is a professional at not acknowledging you at all. It is not a coincidence that narcissists in general tend to gravitate towards interacting with caring and compassionate people. The covert narcissist recognizes those opportunities for manipulation as well. I believe her to have these traits, and I believe that PlaymateTessi is a borderline narcissist. You can see the signs throughout her videos. It's really funny how this video comes across as insightful at first glance, but when you start watching her video, it slowly dawns on you that she is just another moron acting like they know what they are talking about, when unfortunately they don't. Just another typical narcissistic cyberbully trying to grow off this drama. Personally, I do these videos not for the drama, but to give my 2 cents into the whole mix. I loved one aspect of this video, and that's the like to dislike ratio. It has been disabled. Everything she calls the father, formerly me, out for, is present within this video, and below it as well. Finally, let's talk about the racism that has been going on in the background along with the homophobia, then we can all go home to our families and try to forget the horrors we have seen this day. Over the last week, Maya and her simp of a boyfriend decided to make a stream talking and bashing minorities including Africans, African Americans, Mexicans, Jewish and homosexual people, making racist jokes that I'm not even going to repeat here, but for context purposes, here's the clip.
Because you know my family knows all about how to treat disobedient slaves. I'm going to turn the dogs loose on you. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a shitload of black people. But it ain't like the old days when I was running the plantation, when my family had our plantation. There are a lot of black people there too. You just gotta know where to keep them.
And where do you keep them?
Well, we keep them in the slaves' quarters at Tulane. And all they say is yes, massa, and no, massa.
Sounds amazing. That sounds
It's pretty nice. Jimmy, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to join the right side of history. You join me in my crusade against the Germans, Mexicans, and Negroes.
My king.
Or you die among them. You die among the poor. Okay? There's no middle ground.
Wait, really? Jimmy, your mom's part Mexican? I didn't know that.
I knew what part was Mexican. It was her work ethic. Laying in bed all day. Sleeping all day when she should be working. That's the Mexican part. She likes her siestas.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen no one take a 24-hour siesta until I saw Monty.
You are making this into a joke when it is super serious. What's super serious here?
Where are you faggots at? Can't even speak English. Poor.
And maybe if you German losers weren't so busy being jealous of me, you'd have your fucking Jews under control and they'd all actually be in concentration and not fucking running free and poor.
There's
So
10 times
jealous.
as many Jews now. And the Germans did a horrible job. Jimmy, you know Tessi has drivers. She had a bunch of Mexican drivers and she had to fire them all. Because they were caught stealing. And they stunk up her Lamborghini.
Yes, all of them. All of my G-Wagons and Lambos and limousines like smell like poverty, poor fucking Mexico. I don't want to
And
be
you know that's a fact that she's been desperately trying to have them deloused from cheap Mexican smell. And it ain't so easy.
And that's why I can't show my 20 cars. It's because, like, you know, my cars are being worked on because there's poverty Mexican smell. So, yeah, I have a lot of cars. They're all ratch and all that, but I can't show them because there's poverty Mexican smell in them, and they're in the doctor's office getting worked on. King of Tulane, what is your thoughts on gay people?
I don't like them. They're disgusting. With their homosexual lifestyles. And AIDS. Most of them, all of them got AIDS. You thought COVID was bad? Shit. Wait till you catch the AIDS. Faggots.
I completely agree with King of Tulane. But he said without gays you wouldn't be anything. What the fuck does that even mean?
The gays don't do anything but get sick and die.
Exactly. Exactly, they're worthless.
Why, you think I'm gonna go broke? If the gays aren't around, I'll still have the Negroes to buy my drugs.
Exactly. And somebody said, and that's why you're canceled. What the fuck? Like, I'm literally a fucking celebrity and I'm fucking ratch. Like, I can't get canceled. I'm talented. I'm like paranoid now. King, talk to live for a second.
Funny how these two morons wouldn't have the balls to say this in public to these races and minorities, but even more funny that King, or should I say Matt, tries his best to keep up a terrible Elmo impression. Either the reason that he wouldn't do this stuff in public is because he is a coward, or the reason for his stupid voice in this clip is because someone took away his balls. I like how she blames Mexicans for not being able to show her cars. However, here's the kicker. The reason she can't show them is because, like her celebrity status, they don't exist. And that's it, I'm done with this for now. I will make another video on her and her simps if this video gets 250 likes by this time next month. I'm giving you this challenge as I feel like the last challenge was a little bit too easy, so if you want an ending to this trilogy, that's the price for entry. Let's see if you guys can do it. All I can say for my conclusion of a pair of irrelevant twats just trying to do whatever it takes to stay afloat in the drama with shock value content along with a covert narcissistic dumbass who is just stirring the pot for clicks and views as she too is trying to do whatever she can to grow her stale content is that some people really do need to go and get themselves a life. And that if YouTube actually has any self-respect, they will remove these people from their platform and they will fall into the darkness they crept out of. And here's the way to actually cancel someone: stop watching their videos, let them become irrelevant from your mind, and their channels will hit a brick wall and cease to exist. Because if a channel doesn't see much growth in a few months, it's not as fun to make content. I speak from experience on that front. Thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy, I would appreciate a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to be part of the British Alliance today, and have a good one.